So, greetings of the day to everyone who is listening us at home. Today, for our segment, Indian Weighing Our People, we have Mr. Sridhar Theivannan, the CEO of EHP India, the CEO of Ravas India, and the CEO of Shri Narayani, associate, with us today. Okay. So, Mr. Sridhar, I mean, you have been in the industry for such a long time. So, how did the journey begin for you in the industry?
Lovely. Thank you very much, Tanmay and your organization for this interview. Now, when we had started, in the early 70s, naturally the world was quite different. It was the days of mechanical weighing scales. Being a core technology weighing man, I should only say, those are the days, where still people were using the eco-longed beam scales, Behringer type and Roberval type and so on. So that was the beginning, of even, in fact, at that time, from pounds, we had switched over to kilograms also. So that was the beginning, I would say from the metrology point of view. And, those were the days, naturally, there were no mobile phones, no televisions. And, it was the days when we were waiting for ton calls and the travels were mostly by trains. So therefore, it was quite a different world, more peaceful world in those days' time. When say peaceful, I am talking about the noise created by the,
Yes.
yeah.
So, sir, it was, I mean, since it's a long journey, I'm sure it must have been a really exciting journey. So, what would you call as your most memorable experience as a professional?
See, I would say, that was the days when, our electromechanical, weighing systems were being installed. Those were the days when I went to Germany also in 78 for doing my advanced German language course. Those were the days when HBM, they call it, HBM. Even today when you go to, in Pusa Road, you're having National Physical Laboratories, you have 100 tons capacity or 50 tons capacity deadweight calibrating machine. You see, when spring balances were calibrated in those days, they were using, more dynamic methods. It was a force measurement. It was not actual deadweight mechanism. So I saw the first deadweight, machine there in HBM, that is called HBM in Darmstadt in Germany. And that was the time also when we were talking to institutions like Indian Institute of Technology and ETDC and such agencies. So we were converting, the mechanical scales into electromechanical by introducing a simple force transducer or tension load cell or whatever, you call it as S-type load cell. So that was, my opinion, a great. Now I think we are focusing more on the weighing technology. So from that point of view, I'm trying to give my, impressions and experiences. So that I would say was a big, journey, first milestone on a long journey. That
Wow.
from that particular metamorphosis or that particular transformation from mechanical to electromechanical. So even weigh bridges, in Kandasari units, we had introduced one single load cell. So those were the days, you were having analog type or dial type, they were more sometimes hex spring, they call it Berkel mechanism with the ribbon, stainless steel ribbon. So whereas all those analogs were replaced with the digital. So you were also able to naturally get a printer also, your dot matrix or whatever printer. So it was I would say, a much more accurate weighing designs. Instead of 500 or 1,000 divisions in a dial, they were also able to talk about 2,000 divisions and so on, much more accurate, no parallax error, and visibility, you could transform the data also to a longer distances. So a great new world of digital was opened.
Wow. I mean, coming from analog to digital, it must have been like a very transformative journey for you personally as well. When you see, these industry changes happening in front of you. Wow, that's
Exactly.
great. So you
Yeah.
say that you went to Germany. So how many other countries or countries, let's say, were you able to travel while working, and which one was your favorite, sir?
So naturally, I would say Germany and German-speaking countries, like Switzerland and Austria. But any day, I can say because of the natural beauty, the technology, wonders of technology, and of course, since I knew, Germany as a student, you see, when you are in a younger years, when you are in your 20s and when you are a student, You see, you are very, very fresh, relatively. And, as a student, I was able to even visit, your school or church or families. So that means you are exposed to the culture of a nation. You see, today, if somebody is coming to Delhi and he just is staying, Taj and he's going back, that is more different than, he is coming to a home, he is having the homemade rotis and, he goes into the gullies and bazaars and seeing a goshala, that everything is completely different. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So, sir, I mean, how did you decide that you wanted to go for? I mean, it's a little away from the topic, but how did you decide that you want to go for Germany, or
Yeah.
like, was it a necessity, or you just wanted to learn more about, and you were like, okay, Germany is the place that I should go? Like,
Oh,
how
very
did
nice.
it happen?
It's a nice question which I really like. You see, my brother, yeah, my eldest brother, told me that in addition to English, of course, anyway we were a colonial country, so everyone was speaking English. He said, in addition, if you are able to learn one more European language, it could be French or it could be German, and anyway, both these languages were taught in Chennai. In those days, Madras, we were having Alliance Francaise for French and Max Muller Bhavan for German language. So anyway, I used to open these nice photos, and when I went to some library, I always used to go to these libraries like USIS, United States Information or Max Muller Bhavan. So I was always, or even your British Council. So I was very impressed with the photos, the natural beauties of the German landscapes, and so on. So that combined this opportunity. Plus, I used to get to know one professor, who did his doctorate in Bonn. He's a Alexander von Humboldt scholar, whom I come to know even in my school days. So he had nicely introduced me, he gave me additional classes, and then he had even suggested me, okay, you can go to a place called Schwäbisch Hall in Stuttgart, near Stuttgart. So that is how I zeroed in and I went there, and I could combine it. After my language course or even between the holidays, I was able to visit nearby factories. As I told you, I was able to go to also this in there is a place where they're having yeah, the German ultimate weighing machine. The authorities are there. PTB they call it. Physikalische Technische Bundesanstalt in Braunschweig. So I was able
Wow.
to visit there, and also I was able to visit some weighing scale factories. That that was on gyroscopic force measurement system. The speed is distance per time, and one quartz oscillator is sending more than 4 million impulses a second. So it measures the distance per time, and then it is converted into weight. So you can imagine, that
Wow.
technologies. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, when you saw such great technology in front of your eyes, I'm sure it must have been like how you introduce a new project to a new kid, and he just gets so excited just to see that, okay, this is the world that is opening in front of me. Was that like with you when you went to Germany?
Exactly. Like when we went to, on excursion, when we were in the Goethe Institute, we were students, we were taken for, they call it Ausflug, that is an excursion. We were taken to Munich. There you are having one physics museum. So there, we were able to see such types of, as I told you, that gyroscopic force measurement system or many other inventions. Germany, is a country with many Nobel laureates also in multi-disciplines.
Yes.
So, so therefore, it was for me, ever continuing new technologies. And even today, what we are having, the past 25 years, we have given, this digital crane scale to weigh molten metal. Even for instance, near Delhi, Manesar and all, we have given to a few companies, like SPM Auto, Rico Auto, and so on. So even today, it is relevant. It is not that I was there in 78 or something like that. Even after 42 years, even today, we are giving to the who is who of the foundry industry. Like you take Kirloskar Brothers or Tata Group and so on. So therefore, the technology, we are continuously exposing ourselves to the new technology, including to the industry 4.0. They call it sometimes, artificial intelligence or machine learning and so on. Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. So, sir, I mean, you have seen the industry grow from being an analog weighing industry to a digital weighing industry. But what else, as far as, let's say, people or companies are concerned, like when you entered into the market, or when other companies entered the market, how do you think the industry has grown in your perspective?
In my opinion, definitely the costs have come down considerably.
Okay, the
Also, for instance,
manufacturing cost.
the manufacturing cost or the, because of the technology, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
in good old days, we were having, levers, you call it cast iron levers, self-contained, not self-contained weigh bridges. So
Mm-hmm.
today, what they do, they just take some steel girders, they just place some load cells. In those days, a load cell would cost nearly about 25,000, 30,000 rupees per piece. But today, you are getting those load cells at even 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so naturally, your length of the platform, I'm talking about weighbridge, it can be modular, it can be increased so quickly. Your increase of the capacity also can be made. So, and also today you are having telemetry, you are again having, cloud. For instance, you can even take those weighing data into cloud, you can take it in the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So today, the small scales, what we call, we were even having fan type scales, costing a couple of thousand rupees or 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
So today you are getting at half the price, even 1,000, 2,000 rupees, you are getting the digital. For instance, when you go to a vendor, a vegetable vendor, today in the bazaar, you can see electronic scales being used so easily.
Yes.
They're easily portable and so on. So therefore, I
And
think definitely the technology again, once again, like your mobile phones, this technology has really, taken the weighing machines, and also you are having new applications also,
mm-hmm.
like health scales, or even, hospital bed, you are embedding some
Mm-hmm.
weighing scales. So you are getting, much more high accuracy scales also, with the new technologies. Yeah,
And with this new technology, like all the other industries were also able to grow. Like as you mentioned, that small vendors are now able to, get the weighing scales and can have their business grow. And as far as hospitals are concerned and everything, so this technological advancement in the weighing industry actually helped all the other industries grow.
exactly. You can even call it as a mother industry, because right from a human being is born as a baby, the scale is being used to know the baby weight. Till, the cadaver, if there is a postmortem requirement, even then, there is a scale used. So, and various sports, you take it as a school or in the, let us say, health sector or entertainment also today. For instance, it is not unusual to see one stage has collapsed. You might have seen, in political meetings, suddenly there is a stage collapsation,
Yes.
or there is going to be a mass entertainment. So even there today, it is possible to use some rope tension load cells and avoid overloading. There can be a signal, for instance, prevention. Today, you
Mm-hmm.
see, overload means, it is only showing overload. But today, you can even stop. For instance, if there is going to be a mechanical handling device, if there is a overloading factor, then this relay can go and even freeze the scale. It can go to the top management before it becomes a safety issue and there is an accident. So these are all the, I would say the advancements, these are peripherals.